Alright, and here's the video review for Unique Toys Hagen, their version of Cutthroat for their Orden Combiner, which, as we all know, is an homage to Abominus. And here he is. I love the colors on him. He's got that right kind of deep bone cream color and a really cool kind of greenish teal. Really, it's more of a tealish green. It's more green than teal, I think, but and the purple. It all looks really great together. The colors on this guy are great. How many times can I say great? Great. Anyway, get his legs in the right positions here. And you can see, like I said, he's like a bird of prey here, and his legs are set a little far back than I normally would think on a standard bird. But I mean, we're dealing with, kind of crazy imaginary beasts here, so it works. And like I said, as you can see, like despite the legs being back, it's actually entirely possible to get him in some fairly stable poses with that support him in kind of a bird-like crouch. Even sitting so far back, he doesn't tilt or anything. So he's got the tail back here. Tail kind of looks like a long-nosed wolf. Anyway, so his head moves up and down. It's on a ball joint. His beak opens up here on the head. The wings are, they can swivel up here. They actually peg in because you're going to move them around during transformation, but they peg in right there, and so you can swivel them this way. They've got a hinge here. They've got a hinge here, which is nice. And then they've got this dual hinge right here between the wings, so you can get some pretty decent wing poses. He also has these little claws that I feel like they can rotate. Well, they can rotate, but I feel like that's more for just how it's assembled than intended to be functional. But you can rotate the claws here up on the wing. I mean, that's about it for posability in bird mode, but you don't really need a whole lot to get some neat poses out of this guy. Also, his little kneecaps can bend up, so you can cover that joint a little better no matter how you've got him posed. So yeah, now his transformation shares some similarities with their version of Ripper Snapper, which makes sense, since we're dealing with arm bots and they tend to share transformations between a lot of these third-party companies. That have, the various limbs have similar transformations to each other. So you come back here, you unplug the tail, and you're going to lift that up on this big hinge, like this. Fold that up like here. The legs, go ahead and peg the wings off. You can leave them in that position. You can leave them sitting wide. They look a little too wide in robot mode, but you can leave them there. And I'll show you in both positions when we get there. So you bring this up, you unpeg the legs from back here, just like this, and these are going to rotate up onto the arms here in just a moment. The feet flip out just like this, and then a couple little heel stabilizers here. Fold down, and then you just kind of pop them apart, similar to like Combiner Wars figures and some of the and again Ripper Snapper. You pop open this, slide this out and about. You can see there's the peg, and then you repeg this up into the knee joint here. I gotta make sure it's flat first. There you go, and then that activates his knee joint and extends his leg. I do want to mention these are all test shots. Like every figure in this Orden Combiner I've gotten has been a test shot. So there may be some looseness here that won't be present on the final version. There might be a couple minor paint app changes or things, just to clarify that before I get too much further. And then this right here, you lift this up. This whole back assembly slides back like this. And then you can rotate the arms all the way up in and peg them in up here. Come on, fit in your slot. There we go. There we go. Locking. There we go. Clicked you in. All right. Then you rotate the arms around like this. Open up these. Fold this little heel spur in on the bird foot. And fold this up. I find it helps. His wrist joints here, the swivels this way, are really tight. So I find it helps to kind of leave the bird foot down here, and as it rotates, it'll kind of pop the fist up. It works a little better on his right arm than on his left, if I recall messing with him. But you kind of bring the foot up, and yeah, this is not. If you get your thumb in there, just rotating the wrist at the same time you're rotating the bird foot back up helps give it a little bit more leverage and slide it out, because that is a very tight joint there. And then the bird head unpegs from here and slides down, bringing the robot head with it. And his beak has a little slot here underneath it that pegs onto the chest. It looks like, and then this little piece right here folds down like that. This It looks like it could probably peg on a little further if you leave the mouth slightly open, but getting that lined up, if you open the mouth like this, the way that hinge works, you can't quite get that tab lined up with the slot unless you close his mouth all the way. But doing so, the beak kind of prevents it from pushing much further in. It'll sit okay, but it does tend to come loose a little bit. And I feel like if you could get in there, and maybe if you had a screwdriver or a flat piece of something, you could get in there under the jaw and maybe push the lower jaw against that tab a little tighter. But it does tend to pop loose a little bit. But there he is, pretty much in robot mode. I'll give his tail. His tail kind of hangs down like this under his back. And then the wings, like I said, they originally come attached here, which that's where they sit for bird mode, which looks good. It doesn't look bad here in robot mode. It seems a little... Actually, I guess they're not any... They're actually higher up than they are in the other position. But yeah, they sit there like that. And that's actually not too bad a position. And of course, you can lift them and rotate them and use all the same joints you had in the wing. There's also some peg holes here on the back. If you don't really want them sticking out to the sides, you can kind of fold them up as a backpack. They do stick out a little bit there. So, but there's an alternate position for the wings. And it takes them back and a little lower. And again, if you really just want them out of the way for the sides of robot mode, you can kind of fold them in like that. Although that does, like I said, it makes his backpack much larger. So that's probably mostly for arm mode. And again, he's got all the standard articulation. He's got the ball-jointed head. Here, you can look up and down. Ratcheting shoulders, swivel this way, bicep swivel. He's got the dual hinge elbows here and here. No wrist swivel. They just flip out. He does have a waist swivel, universal hips. He does have a thigh swivel and the hinge knee, and the feet do have an ankle tilt to them. The whole foot moves down. So all in all, not a badly articulated figure. Now, I don't know if he comes with specific weapons. The only weapons I was sent with these that weren't the they didn't go to either of the previous figures, or to any of the previous figures, are these two swords, which I'm pretty sure go to Siegfried, their version of Hunger, and this combined mode gun. And this is pretty cool. Like it kind of pulls from Hercules in that this large rifle, I think there's the rifle for the combiner, does split into several smaller weapons. So maybe these are intended to be his guns. But aside from this combined mode gun, he doesn't, unlike... I guess Blot didn't have them either, but unlike Ripper Snapper and Sinner Twin, Sinner Twin had the hooked purple swords, and Ripper Snapper had those missiles, those kind of spear missiles. He doesn't seem to come with individual weapons, and if he does, that may be something that's coming with them later. I didn't get them with this test shot version. So I got these, and like I said, this rifle splits apart into several smaller weapons for the other bots. Let me see him pop it apart here. There we go. So I assume like this is probably Blot's gun or Troll's gun. I guess this could be Siegfried's gun. I tend to think this larger weapon would be Siegfried's gun, the larger rifle. But either one of these would look well on Siegfried. Some smaller guns, which again, you could mount those on... if you have the wings on the back, you can mount those on the side of Hagen, however you say it. But you've got an assortment of weapons here. Again, 5 individual... Technically 6, but you got a larger rifle, a smaller rifle, like a big kind of blast rifle, another larger rifle, and then a set of 2 kind of, turret guns. And again, that just snaps together like that. This one pegs in up here like this. Actually, I should probably peg this gun into here like this. And then peg everything together here. Just like that. And then these peg on back here. And then this piece, of course, flips down, and you've got the large rifle for the combined mode. I believe this comes with Siegfried, and we'll show that out, we'll show it off in the combined mode. But since he didn't come with seem to come with any specific weapons, I just figured I'd take the time to show that one off. So on to arm mode. Like I said, leave these back here. And there's not a whole lot, like a lot of the others, there's not a whole lot to his arm mode from robot mode. You just kind of flip the bird head back up. And I don't peg it in. You can peg it all the way in up here if you want. And that takes a little bit of force. Oh, gotta flip his thingy up. I guess you could do it like that if you wanted. But you lose a little bit of the ball joint posability. And like I said, if you want to have the bird head in a different position than the locked in place position, you can absolutely just unpeg that and kind of turn it around or put it however you want. Fold the fists up. Fold the fists up and then fold the bird arm back. And just kind of position that along the side of his body. Yeah, whereas like Troll had some specific, all of his limbs kind of locked in his limb mode. The arms kind of just, on the two arm bots, the robot arms just kind of sit there. Again, flip his feet up. And then take the fist piece and place it in between the legs. Snap it together. Rotate this combiner port down, which is kind of a pain in the butt. They're really, which is good for combiner mode. It's a nice tight joint, but getting it down there with your finger is a little rough. Oh, actually, you want to collapse. He does extend to give you that extendable elbow joint, and you collapse the legs back up. And that's one of the things that I really like about how they designed these guys. I love that extendable hidden elbow joint for combined mode. It gives him all the articulation you'd want out of the elbow there without compromising the waist joint of the figure itself. And it keeps it from making you don't have that open gap because of the thighs, which is nice. So there he is in arm mode. And again, the wings, I've had some people complain about the wings. You can fold them up. You can rotate them around and flip them around like this. However you want to do the wings, like, and if you don't like the wings, it's a simple matter. You can just unpeg them and take them right off. Of course, then you've got parts sitting around. Personally, I like to fold them like this. I kind of like them swept in like that. But you can change the size and have them sweep out. But it's entirely up to you. And like I said, if you don't like them, you can just pull them right off. So, but yeah, there he is in arm mode, and we'll get on to Siegfried next. And just another quick update. There's also a hinge right here on the wing. You can flip this piece out as well as lift it up here closer to the body. Nothing major. Just wanted to show off that last little joint.